Welcome to the Calgary Environmental Roundtable Municipal Election Campaign, led by the Gravity Well podcast with me, Jenny Yeremy. The Calgary Environmental Roundtable, or CERT for short, is a nonpartisan coalition of environmental and climate organizations working together to ensure that water, nature, and climate are front of mind, and that our members have an ongoing opportunity to shape the future of our city. Through our candidate questionnaire, mayoral and ward podcast panels, and voter engagement tool, CERT is connecting residents with candidates, elevating environmental priorities, and empowering Calgarians to make informed choices at the ballot box. Municipal decisions directly affect the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the communities we live in. As Calgary continues to grow, we must prioritize clean water, biodiversity, and bold climate action to ensure a safe and thriving city for generations to come. Our list of supporters is growing. Reach out to add your organization. Send your candidates and network the CERT questionnaire. Encourage their participation and ongoing relationship building with their representatives. Remember to follow, like, subscribe, and share the Gravity Well podcast. Together we can build a resilient, healthy, and sustainable city for all Calgarians.
Good morning, everyone. We're starting a little bit early this morning. Most of us getting over some sort of cold, so I'm really glad that I have a room full today. I'm excited to speak to three of your candidates for Ward 9. So we have Harrison Clark, Marina Ortman, and Shirley Parungao Do. But first, I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping, just to remind you that the CERT campaign is, we're doing this campaign because the decisions that the municipal officials make directly affect the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the communities we live in. The goal of this campaign is to connect you with your candidates, elevate environmental and common good priorities, and empower you and your fellow Calgarians to make informed choices at the ballot box and beyond. Thank you to Jeremy Farkas for Mayor, Ali Unwala for Ward 1, Jennifer Wyness and Trevor Kavanagh for Ward 2, Andrew Yule and Jasprina Jahal for Ward 3, DJ Kelly for Ward 4, David Barrett, Anthony Askew, and Mike Atkinson for Ward 7, and Miguel Cortines from Ward 8 for your participation. You can check out their conversations with me on the Gravity Well with Jenny YouTube account, as well as on my website at thegravitywell.net. These links will be included as well. Please check out my conversation also with Heather McKinsey of Solar Alberta in the absence of a Ward 6 conversation. So if you live in Wards 5, 6, 10, 12, or 13, or are rooting for candidates for Mayor Jody Gondak, Brian Thiessen, Sonia Sharp, or Jeff Davidson, please reach out to your candidates and ask for their participation. So far, we have no commitment from those folks to participate in these conversations. Some of them have answered some of the questions. You can check that out on my website as well. Okay, so please use this QR code in the top corner to ask your candidates to participate and spread the word. It'll be most successful because of you. We do have participation from 33 candidates across the city, and are really thrilled about that. So your impact is amplified when you share this. Before we begin, please note that the candidates hold a range of environmental positions and priorities and objectives. This isn't a debate. Positions taken by participants either individually or collectively do not necessarily represent those of the Calgary Environmental Roundtable as a whole. And this campaign does not endorse or recommend any candidates or political parties. That being said, I will do my best to offer some personal endorsements in the last week before the election. Lastly, please remember to like and subscribe to the Gravity Well. Help this get out and make the effort of your candidates worthwhile, and make sure that this, help the algorithm see this stuff for your friends and for your community. Okay, so now let's begin. I'm happy to welcome Harrison Clark to the show. Thank you for joining us, Harrison. You're on mute, just so you know.
Thank you. Yes, hi. Good morning.
Welcome. So Harrison Clark owns and operates Murphy's Mid-Century in Inglewood since 2018, and he's running as an independent. Harrison sees an interesting future ahead for Ward 9 communities. As Calgary grows, he sees your neighborhood being poised to play a key role in developing a clear vision for the city. He thinks the next Ward 9 councillor must be prepared to represent communities' voices and restore trust in the council's ability to meet basic needs of our neighborhood while engaging us in the decision-making process about our future. He has a broad experience in community relationships management and communications, and he's rolled up his own sleeves or built his own business by rolling up his sleeves. I said that a bit backwards, but
No, that's
anyway, thank you so much. Welcome, Harrison. Really glad to have you here.
yeah. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, now Marina Ortman is with us. Marina is a devoted community advocate, an apparel designer and founder of Dome's Design Studio, and a proud Calgarian. She's raised in a Ukrainian-Russian family in Western Siberia. Marina immigrated to Canada in search of new opportunities, overcame cultural and linguistic barriers, graduated with a BA and majoring in international relations from the University of Calgary. She's passionate for her community, has advocate for to save Inglewood pool, and in that effort, she started with in-depth research in the decision-making process, addressing questionable practices, and her tireless actions resulted in galvanizing of neighbors, interest groups, special needs organizations, and she ultimately had the decision overturned. Marina's ongoing advocacy work will reflect in her dedication to ensure that development align with the interests and well-being of the people she serves. Welcome, Marina.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. And lastly, we've got Shirley Parungao Do. Am I saying that correctly, Shirley? Let me double check that before I... Oh, you're on mute. Thank you.
It's close enough.
Close enough. Okay, I apologize. I'm used to having people mispronounce my last name too, which is Jeremy. So I apologize and wouldn't want to do that. Okay, so Shirley Parungao Do is the Director of Operations at SDPC Multi-Support Services in Calgary. As it suggests, she offers several areas of services, vendor support, caregiving, cleaning in both homes and construction. She's founder of the Present from Your Heart Foundation. She worked in the Alberta Health Services Administration and has studied paralegal or legal support work and volunteered on the Alberta Council, offering legal and lobbying services in the city. Welcome, Shirley.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, so we'll get into these questions. And like I said, I'll do my best to keep it flowing, try to keep this to kind of seven minutes per question, if you will. Excuse me, I'm going to cough.
Excuse me.
There we go. We're all in the same boat. Okay, so I'll start with you, Harrison, and we'll work clockwise for this one. Just remember to mute when you're not speaking, please. So Calgary's climate strategy outlines 5-year goals to reduce energy poverty and utility costs, creating clean economy jobs, improving public health, and building more equitable, climate resilient communities. If elected, how will you work to achieve these outcomes, please?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's really important to note that, I love that the city has made a plan. It's made it public facing. This is something that we can look at and look to as we plan to implement some environmental stewardship in the process of renewing this city. I think the equitable piece is really important as it relates to Ward 9. There's a number of communities here that have not seen investment in a very long time. And so I think it's important that they are given sort of the front seat in this process and given an opportunity to see those investments there first. Like I said, I mean, I think it's great that the city has come forward with a strategy. And I think as a councillor, I would look to support that. But I want to make sure that the voice of many of our communities that we haven't seen this kind of investment in some time are brought forward and engaged to participate in the process.
Wonderful. Shirley, you're next, please. And you're on mute again. Thank you for expecting that.
I keep forgetting that. I am committed to protecting our environment by supporting the cleaner energy and planting more trees, reducing waste, and creating greener, healthier communities for future generations. Like I said, people are asking me where are my candidacy material, which is I don't have much of the flyer where I made my own DIY flyers to put it in their homes. I printed on my own self because I like using a much of paper because my business is we are doing digital, so we're avoiding to use more paper to protect the trees, right? And also we I don't have much, also as you can see, I don't have much of my long poster because I'm also protecting the environment by avoiding using of those material. Like we all know where is those material came from, right? And I am a pro environmental care, and I love going outside. I'm an outside person, so that's the reasons why I'm supporting all of that. And you're not gonna see me carrying much of my candidacy, propanalia, whatever materials that given to people, because that's what I'm trying to avoid it to use. And but I, like I said, I love seeing my community where it is presented well, and ensure that the environment are always be taken care, because I love my family and I love my children and my neighbor and my community and the country where I am right now. Therefore, I wanted to make it sure that the environment will be taken first, because that's where we're looking in the future.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, Marina, you're next, please.
Thank you. Thanks. Well, I agree with Harrison. The strategy should be there, and we need to look close. And well, couple of things. Well, first of all, I do support the strategy, yes. And there are a couple of points I'd like to bring up, which is we need to reduce energy poverty and costs. We need to create clean economy jobs, public health through natural infrastructure, and stop losing green space, and balance development and development trade-offs. What I mean by that, when negotiating with developers, I would like to build in a trade condition. If you propose a development, you have to give something back to the community, be it a green space, be it a tree, a park, whichever comes in a need to that community that being redeveloped. Stop losing green space. What I find ironic is the administration screams that there's a climate emergency situation, and yet giving green space away like it's just going out of fashion. I'm going to be colloquial on this, but that's what's happening. And no matter how many people are trying to bring to council attention, stop giving don't disperse it. Once green space is gone, it is gone forever. I've been always saying that. So we need to actually we need to do what we say is important, not when we're saying one thing and then turn around and doing the complete opposite of it. The tree canopy, right? We are at what, 8.65%? The benchmark is 30%. How did we get here? And we're still losing trees. So clean economy jobs. I support attracting and growing clean tech businesses here in Calgary. At the same time, we should expand training programs that help workers transition into new trades like energy, retrofits, solar installations, and green infrastructure maintenance. And I would push for targeted programs that help residents retrofit older homes. And we need to engage INMAX into that process as well. So that's pretty much where I'm standing at, to protect, preserve, and prepare for the future. So thank you.
Wonderful. So the overall thing I heard from you is to have this equitable investment in the city, make sure that the investment shows the results of like where we actually need to go. You know, you said the benchmark is 30%, and here we are at 12 or 8. So yes, making sure that these measures or the strategy is realized, and that those measures are being looked at, and that the community, I heard from each of you, are being engaged in that meaningfully. Okay, so we'll go the opposite way this time. Marina, you can lead us off. How will you ensure that new community development and redevelopment in Calgary protects our watersheds, rivers, and creek valleys, wetlands, and the wildlife and urban diversity who depend on these ecosystems?
Well, it's thanks. It's we do need development. However, it is crucial that we protect what sorry, I have cats here. They're quite active.
They love to be in the film. It's a normal thing. Keep going.
They do. So they weigh about 22 pounds each. So if something flies in, that's the reason. So I always use this example for you know where Bird Sanctuary is, right? In Inglewood. Have you been there, right? Have you seen there's a development? There's garages and to the left of it. So it's basically between the river and the bird sanctuary, right? So the new development, there's actually a new development proposal coming in. So that is Summit Group, I believe. They are trying to change, well, they're filing for a land use redesignation to convert this space into condos, right? Again, we are screaming that we need to protect spaces, and something like this is happening. No one is even bringing that to attention to anybody except us, of course. But so what we want to do, actually, we want, and we're reaching out to a provincial level as well. We want this bird sanctuary to assume that space and keep it, because the development, it will create such a shock wave to the nature that is already formed and habitat that we will never recover it. So that's, you know what, again, if we want things to get done, we can do them. We just need to start acting, as opposed to just, you know what, creating optics and looking good while talking about it. So that's where I'm at. Again, build trade-offs. I think that's important, and I haven't seen that happen yet. So I'm really looking forward into integrating that process, and yeah, and just basically, you know what, learn by example, study other municipalities, what they have done to protect their environment, and they engage people that are actually know their business, so to speak, right? So that's where I'm standing on that.
Wonderful. Okay, Shirley, I'm gonna quickly move things around. You're up, please. I got your yeah, from now on I can unmute you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Wetland are vital for our ecosystem. Redevelopment must be always balanced to growth with the protections. I will support on smart planning that preserve natural habitat, prevents flooding, and creates green space while ensuring the responsible development. Right. So I always goes to look every constructions that they are making near to the lakes, and ensuring, because that is the issue where in my country right now where all the flooding happening. So I wanted to make sure that that's not gonna happen in here, in where the city I am living, and I am pretty sure that redevelopment always involves trades off, right? And believe the importance to balance the growth with the environment protections. For me, I wanted to integrate the process, and hereby learning more from other municipalities that have successfully protected their wetland and green space. The key is to engage people involvement and the community, and make sure we're building responsible while preventing a natural environment on that.
Wonderful. Okay, Harrison, you're next, please.
Thank you. A couple of things come to mind for me right away. Following the flood in 2013, I know, like, as a city, both formally and informally, we had a lot of conversations about building on floodplains and where those developments should be. So I think it's really important that we respect the boundaries of our rivers and not really encroach on them. I know that the Nose Creek, there's been great efforts to sort of save and protect that as well. I think it's really important to keep these things intact. I mean, these are when we talk about our relationship with nature and environment, there's a natural process at hand here. And we either have the choice to respect it and live within it, or sort of step over it, step on it. And it seems to constantly be the thing that we're grappling with. to that point, I think, I think about a lot of Ward 9, not so close to the river. Some of it is very close to the river. Lots of it isn't. But in that, there's still natural process at hand. There are natural water catchments that occur, where water pools and like there's process there. So let's expand on that. Let's protect it and endorse it and support it. And that also, again, leads back to this equity piece. I think if we take that same approach to these communities with our rain gardens and our, these natural coves of environment, we can sort of bring the process across all of our communities. It's very easy to point to on the river, but a lot of Ward 9 doesn't exist on the river. So I think it's important that we look that direction as well.
Thank you. Wonderful answers, guys. My goodness. I want to expand, Marina, on what you were saying before. Having this built-in trade-off system would be amazing. I know this is something that is being talked about in BC right now, for example. Making sure that those green spaces are being replenished. That is the direction we should be heading, not taking those things away. So I just wanted to expand on those things. Like when we put in a bird sanctuary, we have to make sure that it actually has the longevity to survive and that those new developments are not encroaching on those successes. Wetlands being essential. Thank you for bringing that in, Shirley. Understanding that we got to integrate processes across different municipalities. That's awesome. And engage with people. Again, you guys are talking about listening to the community in a lot of ways. Thank you, Harrison, for talking about building on floodplains. We are a city of 2 rivers. We can't ignore them, and we have to understand those big swings that we're seeing in the environment right now could have a big impact in places like Inglewood. So thank you for bringing that into view. And that we need to, again, expand these green spaces. You talked about that and think about equity. It all is hand in hand with this. Thank you for those thoughtful answers. Okay, Shirley, I'll let you lead this one, please. So, and then we'll go to you, Marina, and then Harrison. Will you commit to dedicate budget dollars towards protecting Calgary's biodiversity and improving wildlife safety in urban environments? This includes through measures such as enforcing bird-friendly building standards, retrofitting existing structures, and supporting safe wildlife corridors. Thank you. And you're on mute.
Yes, yes, I am committed to dedicating budget dollars to protect Calgary's biodiversity and improve wildlife safety. This means enforcing bird-friendly building standards, retrofitting existing structures while where possible, right? And supporting safe wildlife corridors so that the RCT grows while respecting the nature. I love natures. Where I do live, when I was young, I do live in the provinces where you can still smell the trees and you can hear all the birds and the wildlife living in there, where you still attached with it, right? And hearing them, it means that you protect the nature is still there, and the nature is amazing how it can help you to protect from any disaster, and that is where we're going to look to encourage everyone to protect our natures and our environment, because this is are going to be protecting us from any disasters will happen. And all those birds and animals, they are there because they're protecting us and they're giving us a warning anything that will come in the future. So when we are not being responsible to take care of them, it means that we're not protecting among ourselves into anything could happen, So love your environment, love the animals, and it is the benefit for all of us. Thank you.
Wonderful. Marina? I might have muted you. I'm sorry. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. The answer is simple. Yes, absolutely. We will have a budget for these incentives. Well, like you mentioned, bird collisions, right? So glass buildings cause thousands of bird deaths, right, yearly. And so retrofits would mean adding special window films, decals, and coating that will make, well, it will prevent birds from hopefully flying in to the glass windows, right? Lighting, roof and vents, again, it's just thoughtful strategies and work with residents, offer incentives to or cost sharing, for example, to condo boards, right, to help them with integrating these changes into the buildings. So the change is possible. We just have to put thinking caps on and get right people involved. And yes, absolutely, everything matters, and we have to protect it. So simple.
Wonderful. Thank you. So yeah, sorry, Harrison, please, your turn.
Hi. No, it's all good. Okay, yes, of course, to these dollars. I think that's very important. I think it's exciting to think about spaces like the redevelopment of Eau Claire or Olympic Plaza as great opportunities to like reapproach urban environmental design. And I hope that we do. I hope that, given the chance, we get to sort of participate in that process. Just as like a counter to that, what we've seen happen at what's called Cowboys Park now, or Millennial Park, where they've just thrown a whole wave of cement over public green space. I mean, that's not the future. That's not great. That's not a great approach. And but another example that comes to mind right away is St. Patrick's Island in the Inglewood area as an integrated environmental space that has some educational opportunity to it as well. I mean, the way that it interacts with the ups and downs of that river and the sort of wetland environment in which it is in. I think that as we talk about investing in these spaces, education has to be at the forefront of so much of what comes next in these public spaces. So yes to the dollars, and yes to bringing this more into the forefront.
Wonderful. So I'll start with Shirley. So you spoke about, yes, wildlife safety being essential, retrofitting where possible. I know, Marina, you've already mentioned that as well. And keeping nature, it helps with disaster reduction. Thank you for bringing that into view. And we are nature, you also sort of touched on, if we see it thriving, we're thriving too. That acknowledgement is so important. Incentivizing those retrofits, Marina, you spoke about. And then a reapproach to the design style. Thank you for bringing that into the conversation, Harrison. It's really interesting. I just heard in yesterday's conversation that ACO is doing these stand-up units really quickly. Like, there's a lot of really fast development we could do that could be, maybe not so permanent, that we're so concerned about what things are like, and that ability to be flexible is just so interesting. I would love to see more and more of that. And then we love parks here, so why wouldn't we focus on them and help them have that additional history and piece to it? So thank you for that. Okay, I don't know where I am, but I'm going to let Marina start this one, maybe just so it's not back to back for Harrison. So the next question is, what steps will you take to ensure housing, rent, and transit in Calgary are affordable and accessible so that more Calgarians can access services with dignity and live and work in a healthy city? Thank you.
$1 million question, right? So affordability is about dignity, you're right? Ability to live, work, and access services without being pushed to the margins. Housing, rent, and transit are at the core of this, right? My commitment focuses on practical, balanced steps that make Calgary more affordable while also building climate resilience. So affordable housing, I will support affordable rental inventory by streamlining approvals for nonprofit and co-op housing providers, and by requiring developers to include affordable options in new projects. At the same time, we need a retrofit program to improve older housing stock so that residents aren't paying higher utility bills because of outdated systems, fair rents, and of course, accessible transit. Affordable transit is essential for both equity and climate. I will push to protect and expand frequent bus service in established communities. Speaking of which, through my door knocking in different communities, I realized there's so many bus bus routes have been cut. It's you know what, we are talking about how to fix transit, and the ridership is down 50%, but we're not actually offering, but we're cutting bus routes and then complaining about limited ridership. So getting back to it, a reliable transit network reduces car dependence and cuts emissions, obviously, and ensures people obviously can get to work on time. So a lot of work to be done. And one of them, when it comes to affordable housing, again, we've been talking about this for weeks now, the blanket rezoning needs to be reversed. We have built so much unaffordable housing in the name of affordable housing. The inventory is just, it is really, really interesting what really happened there in the past few years. But here's my answer to that. So thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, I'll go Harrison next.
Okay. I think the affordable housing piece, like Marina has said, like it goes on as it's the number one topic of conversation across the country and of course in this city. And I think like what all this relates to is a sort of a cultural shift that we have to undertake. We have to further invest in transit in order for it to be a functioning system for a city of our size. And we have not done that for decades. We really have never approached it with the kind of dollars that it requires to fully service our communities. Let's just acknowledge that as it is. And so it's time to sort of shift that, because of a population of 2 million people, you can't possibly expect every single one of those people to take their own individual car wherever they want to go. And because for the most part, a lot of these people now moving to this city want to live an urban lifestyle. They're not interested in owning a car or taking it every single day, everywhere they want to go. They want to bike, they want to walk, and they want to take transit. So let's invest in that. Let's support that need because it exists. That's good business sense. I believe that affordable housing has to come from, exactly, our non-for-profit organizations. There's a number at work already in our communities doing amazing things. And I think, affordable housing has been a consistent problem for society since we built cities. And so there's wonderful examples of ways in which we've dealt with it before. I think about our mobile homes. I think about our cooperative housing models. Let's look at some of what we have done before and apply the 21st century lens to them, and make sure that we let's be bold. I mean, these issues require bold action, and we've got some great community partners at work already doing these things. Let's make sure that they're well supported and that the way in which they get this done is made easy by policymakers like we hope to be.
Wonderful. Shirley?
Yeah, I can relate on this one because when I first came here, it's really expensive to have your own home. Affordability comes with owning your home or renting. It's really expensive to rent now because you have to come out with the deposit and plus the rent at the same time. And also, when you're buying a house, is a bottleneck for getting the house from the bank approval, and it's also making decisions is for the bank to get you approved to get one. And when it becomes of affordability for the housing, that's where I am up to, because the reasons why I'm running too, because I heard a lot of concern on that. When you saying is affordable, it has to be the complex of the building in the house, where near to the stores, near to superstores, near to school, near to transit. Rather than we're building and expanding for the place where it's too far for to accommodate your needs for daily basis, right? So building the house affordable is where I am pushing a lot onto my candidacy, because I've been through on that. I wanted to make it sure that when it say affordable, it has to be affordable and supported by the government. When you're supporting with these people, it means they can't get their own house that they've been dreaming. Build the house that can be accessible and affordable to these people. We don't need a luxury building house. All we just need is a simple that they can live in, where is accommodating your salary, and your expenses that will come along on that by owning the house, right? Because the salary now is, like I said, is not comes along with your budget every day now. Everything is going up, but the salary stay down. So in order for us to help the affordability of the housing, is when the government is supporting people, support it all the way. Don't just say it. Just how you going to support them getting the house. Allow them to enter on the building that you're making, the apartment or the housing that you're making for them. Anyway, you're building that for them. Why don't we just support them and getting one? So at least we avoiding and limiting people renting and also living outside. You know, you're building for what reasons and still empty, because they cannot accommodate the expense of that they're going to faces on the first moving, right? So when
Yes.
you are implementing affordable, it should be really affordable and they can move in easily. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Oh, you guys touched on so many great things. So yeah, affordability is about dignity. Thank you for saying that, Marina. And you spoke about this earlier too, that once we have clean energy and you are thinking about, this climate resiliency, you also get that affordability thing in there. And you spoke about retrofitting again, affordable transit and having more routes. Like both you and Harrison spoke about, like we're in a different size city now, and the reality of us expecting people to drive everywhere, and not just one vehicle but multiple vehicles, because you have to be able to get around this city, is just not realistic anymore. So a sort of step shift in that logic and investing in transit. Looking to nonprofits for the advice of how to design affordable houses. Wow, what an obvious thing to bring into view. Thank you for that, Harrison. And also that in affordability, thank you, Shirley, for talking about how affordability needs to include that holistic view of all the services and all the access that should come with that, not just building. And you guys have all said this, saying that you're building something affordable is not the same as making it accessible. So thank you so much, guys. That was fabulous. Okay, so I'm going to go Harrison, Shirley, then Marina this time. This is on the NMAX question. So NMAX is wholly owned by the City of Calgary. What role do you see them playing in helping the city achieve its 2035 clean electricity goals? Thank you.
Yeah, this is a really interesting question and very specific. So I'm excited that you asked it because it did get me thinking about NMAX. And to that end, I think, so first of all, you've highlighted something great, which is that it's an enormous entity, Calgary city-owned entity. And with that kind of budget and with that kind of capacity, it has the power to do many, many things. The thing that came to mind for me right away was that not so long ago, the city council had a member on the board of NMAX to help derive or sort of direct real community voice at that level of executive decision making. And so I wonder if we shouldn't revisit that as a means to sort of pull the community voice forward and to bring this better into directional light, as it were. That's really what came to mind for me when I thought about this question. Yes, NMAX has lots to offer in terms of its power and capacity. Should we not have more directive from council, from community on that board?
Wonderful. Shirley?
Yeah, since NMAX is fully owned by the City of Calgary, it has a key role leading us towards to our 2035 clean electricity goal. I see NMAX as both a provider and an innovator, expanding renewable energy generations and modernizations or the grid to support clean technologies and helping Calgarians transitions through a program that make it solar energy sufficient and electrifications more accessible and affordable by aligning NMAX invest with our climate's goal, and we can ensure that the city not only meets its clean electricity target but also treats good jobs and keeps energy reliable and affordable for our residents. Uh, because right now everything is going up and adding more on expenses for your electricity, it's quite a bit of pain onto your budget, right? And also that like what happened to us in my home, uh, the power was off for like 3 weeks because the power line on the back alley wasn't grounded underground, and I was surprised that we have to carry those expenses
Oh,
when they are fixing the line, the pipeline underground. And as being the owner of this house, the NMAX told us we have to pay for the electricians to put in the new wires underground, and plus the expenses of getting your permits and your NMAX to come here, and it's a lot of work, and plus it's a cost money. If the can cover that to help the homeowners by limiting the expenses more on that. Anyway, it's underground. I just don't understand why do we need to pay for it, right? And it's I'm telling you, it's not cheap. And some of it, some people that I heard, they had to get loan from their mortgage to cover that cost, and it's like thousand that they spend. So for me, that is really important, to cover that because it's add up to your expenses for just an ordinary person who's living with the salary is on the minimal cost, and the expenses is really rising right now. Having extra expenses is not good for your budget. Thank you.
agreed. Wow. Thank you for that share. Okay. Marina, you're next, please.
Well, everybody brought up great points, and I would add to it is, so there's there's a lot of residents talk about decarbonization. So moving away from shifting Calgary electricity grid away from fossil fuels. Again, well, we are an oil city, right? Oil province in a way. So we have to, but the thing is, we do have access to the studies, to the people who we can integrate the changes to moving more of a clean energy, right? So there's a solar, there's a wind, and the water, right? We can engage, again, like to Harrison's point, engage the right people and keep on working and stay in touch with the residents because they carry a lot of knowledge themselves as well. So that's all I have to add, because everybody brings a good point, right? So I'm just add a little bit more and voila.
Yeah. No, thank you. I was thinking as you guys were going, we're spread all across the city. You all are bringing such wonderful bits to this. So yeah, just understanding that they are a big entity and we own them. And so, man, should we really be focused on this? Having somebody back on the board makes so much sense to me too. I wasn't aware of that. So again, I'm learning through this. Like they are, I love, Shirley, you mentioned that they're a provider and an innovator. Let's make sure that we are the leading city in terms of the new direction of energy, as you guys are talking about the wind, water, and solar and battery storage future. And understanding that we do need to look at reliability and affordability and what's realistic of homeowners to take on. Shirley, that is a remarkable story. I couldn't imagine having suddenly that expense and a disruption happening in my yard, it's pretty wild to think of. And I don't think we understand these things until we're directly impacted in them. So thank you for stepping forward after experiencing something like that. Okay, so I am lost track again. So I'm going to go this time. Let's say Marina can go first, and then we'll go Shirley and then Harrison. So Marina, how will you advance sustainable water use and watershed protection in Calgary's growth and development decisions? Please.
Well, again, I like to rely on examples, right? So for last year in November, well, okay, there was a proposed development by Glenmore Reservoir. We all know where Glenmore Reservoir is. And the group that was fighting that development, there was 6 towers were proposed to be built in that area, actually reached out to us after the Inglewood pool. So they wanted, the strategy, and then basically just help them out, right? So we joined the group and we spoke on that redevelopment. And what really got my attention is the lack of understanding and knowledge coming from administration, right? So the question was asked, name another municipality where that big of a development is built so close to your drinking water. And given the fact that we just had the main break a couple months ago, right? So, and administration came up with this. We don't, but it should be okay. That was the answer. I'm not joking. We can verify that, right? So we can't have decisions like this made based on it should be okay, right? When you build something like this next to your drinking water, and then just further from it, the BRT line, when it went underground, right? So there's a tunnel, and it struck many springs, underground springs. So what I'm trying to get here is, when we talk about development, we have to put so much time into study and see how it's going to affect, right? And don't make decisions based on, I think it's okay. So it has to be scientific. It has to be it has to be proven, right? So you can't bring developments next to like, to your point, the water, right? You just can't, and you have to protect. So we need to pay attention to what is important as opposed to the dollar value. So that's the best example I can give. So again, administration needs to do better than they do it right now. So
Wonderful. Okay, Shirley.
Yeah, thank you for that questions. As the Calgarian grows, we must make responsible decisions about the water uses and the watershed protections. That means integrating water efficiency into all new developments, protecting the Bow and the Elbow rivers, and ensuring storm water and rainfall are managed sustainably. And I will support the policies that balance growth with conservations, so our city remains resilient, and our drinks water stay clean, and future generations about the resources. Thank you. Sorry about my dog. I have 5. So for me, water is really important, because the water, it goes to your body, and it's protecting your health. It's really, really important for us to protect the clean water that we are drinking. And water is really important to survive, So we need to ensure that whatever we're putting into our body, it has to be protected. Because in that way, we're eliminating to get any sickness, because this is really helping your health. And also rainfall, we should have more lakes where we can put the water, and to avoid rising more rainfall into our areas. we should put more on that, and ensuring the water is always you know look after, you know.
Available, that's the word I was coming to mind for me. Thank you. Harrison, I saw you drink water. That made you thirsty.
Yeah, like all that talk of water made me really thirsty. I think this is a great opportunity to talk about sprawl again. I think sprawl has a major negative impact and is actually quite counter to the environmental strategies that we're trying to implement and the things that we're discussing today. You think about those pipes and how much water is just living within the infrastructure to stretch all the way across this enormous city. I think it's very detrimental to our water stewardship. And so to that end, I think, densification and revisiting our plans for the inner city are really important. As it relates to like watershed and water catchment, I think water catchment becomes very, very important for a city of our size. On the prairies, we should be making sure that water collection occurs in many ways, and perhaps decentralizing. We've got a couple of reservoirs with I think the Ghost is coming online, and we've got some strategies to sort of broaden our water catchment, and I think we should continue to expand on that so that we have diversity in where our water is and where it comes from. And I think that about covers what I think about it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, you guys spoke about the lack of knowledge, the need to actually look to the scientific information that is out there, Marina, and respect it, not just say, oh, well, should work. No, that's not a real solution. And I think that's something that I thank you. So you guys have just hit so many things home for me here. Use the studies, use the data, understanding that we need to conserve our rainwater and help it stay in places, as you were saying, Shirley. I would suggest, as you were talking about earlier, those wetlands are going to be really important to make sure that water stays where we want it to stay and helps with those lessons the blow of natural disasters. And thank you, Harrison, for talking about sprawl. Sprawl is something that I've been advocating at City Hall about. If we think about making water-centered decisions, which you guys reminded me, I had a wonderful conversation. I'm attaching it to this one with Dr. Tricia Stadnick at the U of C. She spoke about how we have to change all of our decision-making around water. Please check that conversation out. It's brilliant, and it really points to the way that we make decisions are not really thinking about that. And if we were, I believe sprawl would be a no-brainer to stop. We would just immediately stop expanding the city and figure out how to build within in an equitable way, as you guys are describing, not just say we're building affordable housing. Sorry, I'm going on a rant now. Anyway, that was wonderful. Thank you guys so much. So Harrison, I'm going to go the opposite way now. So Harrison, Shirley, then Marina, please. So last question, how will you ensure recommendations from Calgarians, including residents, frontline communities, environmental groups, and city staff are meaningfully considered in council decisions? Thank you.
It's a great question. And I think what it triggers in me is a lot of conversations that I've had with folks around the ward over the course of this year about feeling like left out of the conversation, feeling like the conversation hasn't been equitable or balanced, and people feeling very ignored. So I think just in terms of engagement as a process, the city has a lot of ground to cover, or it has some growth ahead of it in terms of the way we engage in these things. One of the things that comes to mind immediately for me is that, again, we're in the 21st century. We have to look at our communication models that are currently in place and make sure that they match the way in which we actually communicate now. I think heading to City Hall, waiting 6 hours for your chance to make a statement is not a very 2025 approach to this kind of conversation and communication. We have to make it more equitable. Again, we come back to equity. There are other ways in which we've expanded these technologies in such ways that it doesn't require that so much anymore. I think that's still a wonderful part of the process, don't get me wrong, but we have to be looking at other ways in which to gather that insight. I think also councilors as a whole, I think this election cycle with 9 seats turning over is a friendly reminder that there's a great responsibility and role in this, in becoming a city councilor. You should be in community, on the ground, gathering real insight from people, your people, that you represent. And so I see more opportunities to create town halls and community conversation, community roundtables with the diversity of the groups. I think about the Indigenous groups here in Ward 9, how important they are. We haven't really had a chance too much to talk about the Indigenous peoples of Calgary and their role in environment and environmental stewardship. They have lots to teach us, and they're just waiting for the opportunity to sit down, I think, and have this conversation. So thank you.
Awesome. Shirley?
Yeah, thank you. I believe on decisions are stronger when they are reflects to the voices for those most affected. I will ensure recommendations from the residents, frontline communications, environmental groups, and the city staff are meaningfully considered by pushing for open consultations, transparent reporting on how feedback it used, and creating clear channels for ongoing dialogue. Council must not only listen but also show how community input shapes our final decisions. And also, it's better when you have a lot of communications with your area's community. That's why I wanted to have my outpost community areas community, where it's very near for them to bring their concern right away, and so at least you are aware what are they concern is, and for you, in order for you to address all the problems and the issues, you have to make it sure you're attached with them, and because they know you're not living in all the areas you are in community. So every areas in your community, suggestion and concern are very important. That's where you're going to do your duties, is coming from them, because you don't have 10 eyes to see all the problem. With support from them, you will know where to start up the issue to be addressed. And therefore, I am wanted to do the communications more often to the area community. That's why we can resolve this issue and give the progress that they're looking for, and the actions, and where they can see it's already taking care. Thank you.
Awesome. Marina, take us home. Oh, sorry, I've got you muted. Now you can take us home.
Okay. Well, again, everybody's brought up great points, right? So I'm just gonna wrap it up in the 4 points. So we need transparency in the decision making, first of all, right? I want to push for the reporting that shows how residents, frontline, and environmental groups feedback is reflected in council decision, and if it's not, then we need to have an explanation as to why. Straighten engagement pathways. Again, to Harrison's point, you're right. We need to include Indigenous group, because there's how many nations are there, and they have yes, they've got the insights we need to integrate in our approach, and respect the experts' opinion as well. Again, we've got studies, we've got people who can provide insight, and by working together in a partnership, as I say, we can deliver results, real results. And I know it's not going to be tomorrow or a month from now, but it will take time. However, if we start in the right direction, we can get there. And the council accountability at the end of it, that's just you can't go around it. So we have to be transparent, accountable, and thoughtful. So in our approach, that's all.
Wow, this has been an awesome hour, guys. I think if you have a little, just 1 more minute to do a round of takeaways, if you want to, anything you want to add about yourself, or anything that you feel is you just want to hit home before we wrap, I'll go in the opposite order. So Marina, would you mind leading us off?
Yes, absolutely. Well, what I'd like to add is since last year, right? So since last year, since the pool and all this other jazz, right? So since other groups were asking us to help out with the strategy and the research, and especially since I have nominated myself this year, I took I was receiving a lot of emails, phone calls from residents of Ward 9, and I started the work then. So I went to meet with them and helped out with how to reach out to the city hall, brought city workers on sites. And so currently I'm working in 5 different communities with few development issues, trying to protect the heritage item from destruction, and a couple other a little more complicated bits. But what I'm saying is I'm already doing the work that needs to be done. I'm not waiting for the seat, for the job to take the place, because nothing's going to change when that happens. So you have to show now what you're made of, and how you're going to do the work with the residents. And that's what I'm doing right now. So that's where I'm at, and that will never change. My doors will always be open, and we will work together on issues. So that's me. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, you bet. Shirley.
Thank you. Like I said, in the last minute of my filing, I was asked to run, and because they see my dedications on doing community support, and my top priority is the student educations and housing, and the affordability of living, and the transit safety, and the local businesses economy, and caregivers families and community engagement. Like I said, I am not a politician. I am a community concern member. Therefore, I am here, and I will ensure that my dedications and my honesty and progress will take actions right away. Your concern, and like I said, we cannot finish this in over the night, but I will ensure you that you will see the progress in this with honesty and transparency, and my dedications that I'm going to offer to you. And your concern is, like I said, your concern is my concern, and your problem is also my problem. Therefore, I am in your shoes, so I know how it feels. So that's why I will ensure that your voice will be heard in the city hall, and not only heard, will be taking actions as well. So we will stand for our taxpayer where it's supposed to go appropriately, and we will protect among our city and our community that what deserve to be done by standing up and ensuring all the budget and the money will go from there. And also that like I said, your vote is really important for your future. Your vote is in your hand, and your future is also in your hand. So I am strongly asking you to vote for your future. Vote smart for the real actions for your community. Okay,
Wonderful.
that's all. Thank you.
Okay, Harrison, you can complete this round for us, please.
Okay. I like what Shirley said there at the end, sort of vote for real action. And, I think so much of what this year on the campaign trail has taught me is community has a good sense of itself, and community has a good sense of what it wants for itself. And I think what we have to do is sort of put that forward. What they're looking for is an advocate and somebody to support them through that process. I'm the only candidate that's actually put forward a comprehensive strategic plan dedicated to this ward, including a healthy section on environmental stewardship and climate resiliency. I think it's really important that it's one thing to have identified concern in community, but what are the action steps to drive these things forward? These are long-standing problems that will stay with us likely for many, many years ahead. How we manage climate stewardship will be something we'll continue to discuss for the rest of this century. But what are the steps that we can take now? I think that's the important thing. I've done my best to identify those things based on good conversations I've had in community. I think I've put forward an accountability measure. You know exactly what to expect from me based on my policy outline. And I think that's what counts. And so I hope for your vote this fall. And it's just, I mean, it starts on Monday. So we're right there for votes. But just thank you very much for this opportunity. I love a good conversation where I can learn something. And I've certainly learned a few things today. Thank you.
Me too. Yeah, thank you guys. This has been incredible. I think Ward 9 is very lucky. I sure hope to be working with, who knows, many of you after this is done. It sounds like you guys are people that are very active in the community regardless of the outcome. So thank you so much for stepping forward and for taking the time to meet with me. I know this is exhausting. I can only, especially I've got a cold, I can only imagine how difficult this is right now. But thank you so much for taking the time. It means a lot, and it will mean a lot in the future. We cannot stop talking about natural services. They're something that is a part of our lives. So you will be definitely hearing more from us. And thank you so much. Take care for now, everyone. Bye. Okay, just quickly, a few highlights again. Just want to make sure you guys know that you please send your letter to encourage your candidates to participate. Use this QR code as I've got in the corner. Make sure that your candidates know that you want to hear from them if you haven't already. As I said, I do not have anyone lined up for Ward 10, 12, or 13 next week. So if you do want to hear from them, please make sure that you poke them again to do so. Whoops. There is where the CERT answers are located. Please check out my website for those, all of the ward candidates so far that have participated. It's been wonderful. And lastly, you can check out the upcoming episodes on the YouTube channel for the Gravity Well as well. And I've just put it in the chat for you there too. Okay, so I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Remember to also not forget to like and subscribe to the Gravity Well. Together we can build a healthy, resilient, and sustainable city for all Calgarians. Thank you.